Hello there, it's Juli. Welcome to my video. Today we're going to make a video that uses washi tape as well as some gold embossing powder to come up with something that I personally think is really pretty, and I had sent off to a friend for her birthday. So I'm using this washi tape. It comes from a pack, I think originally of about 10 washi tapes all in one roll from Michaels. It's discontinued. I've had this washi tape for probably at least 5 years. And I'm also going to use the stamp, We Are the Best of Friends from Studio G. So to start off, I've got a piece of white cardstock, and it is about 3 3/4 inches by 5 1/4 inches as well. And I'm going to take this double-sided tape and use it on the back of my sheet. And you'll see why I'm doing that here in a couple of minutes, but I want to make sure that I've got it all around the back side. It's going to, all the washi tape then is going to flow out from that first piece, so I want to make sure that I put it down in at a good angle for it to basically set up all the rest of the pieces. So you can see here, because it's so light, I have it on the white piece of paper that the white base will actually shine through it, but it won't matter because it is clear and it's the same color there. I originally wasn't so sure about using this one with the darker teal and the small flowers, but in the end I absolutely loved its placement, and you can see I ended up using it not once, not twice, but 3 times on the card. Now, one of the problems of this particular technique that you will find is that your background with the washi tape is now stuck to the surface that you have done this project on. So I'm very gently peeling up my background up off my surface and turning it over. Now remember how I said we were going to find out what we would do with these double-sided pieces of tape on the background? Well, this is it. I'm now releasing the paper, the release paper, from each of those pieces of double-sided tape so that I can take the edges of my washi tape and put them over top of that double-sided tape, because as much as I love washi tape, what I have discovered is it is not as sticky as you hope that it's going to be, and it usually needs a bit of help. So that's what I've done here, is provide it with a little bit of help. I'm taking this corner and bringing it over the edge, first on the small side so that it will be square on the other side of it, on the right side, and then bringing it down so that it will be connected to the paper there. Now I'm going to do this all around the entire outside of it, and you will find that it works really well here to be able to do that technique around the corner. And also because the washi tape is facing on the outside, like all in a row on the one side, it will basically still stay that way. It's not going to cross over, is what I'm trying to say here, on it. And when we turn it over, it looks, well, I think it looks really pretty. I was very happy with the outcome of the washi tape on that background. Now that the base is done with the washi tape, I'm moving on to my sentiment. I have my jig here as well as my Best of Friends stamp from Studio G. I've already cut a 1-inch strip sentiment, and I'm going to use that with my Versamark watermark ink. So here I've got my jig and I'm using it with my ink. If I were to go back and do this, I would not have done it with that Versamark ink. I would have done it with a different color so I could actually be able to see it. And what you don't see on camera is the number of times that I did this over and over again rather than sillily not changing the ink on my jig base. So I've used my anti-static powder on it, and now I'm using my jig along with this wooden stamp. I find that the jig works best for these larger wooden stamps, or kind of an older style, rather than the polymer or the silicone based clear stamps, and I still have a decent number of them in my collection, so that's what I'm going to use. Here is my gold Recollections embossing powder from Michaels. I have a fair amount of this stuff, so I feel the need to use it up. I'm just flicking it on the back to make sure that all of that extra embossing powder is off, and putting it back into my little container here so that when I use my heat gun, it's not going to go flying absolutely everywhere in my craft room. I've taken out my heat gun here, and I'm giving it an inch or two of space from the piece of paper and continuously having it moving. You can see there that it is starting to melt onto it and making it look nice and shiny. Here's my background. Again, Neenah Solar white paper that I've used in 4 inches across and 5.5 inches down. And now I'm going to take out some other double-sided tape that I have, Sookwang double-sided tape. This is about 3/8 of an inch, I think, between 3/8 of an inch and 1/2 inch in thickness, and I'm going to run that around all 4 sides of my washi tape background so that it will go onto my card base. I like it to be nice and sturdy and definitely not coming off of my card base, so this much tape is probably a little bit overkill, but you know, that's where I'm at. Just making sure that thing is not going to come off. I like to make some tabs with my washi tape so that I can use that to better put it down onto my card base. Just an inch, maybe an inch and a half at very most down, down to make those tabs, and then to take it and place it onto the front of the card base, making sure that it is even all the way around and nice and firmly placed there, and then I can be able to take each of those tabs off one by one. Now you can see that tab kind of slipped underneath there. I'm rescuing it, and now I can pull it off, pat down where the tape needs to bind, and that background is on there. I've got my sentiment, and I'm figuring out exactly where I'm going to put it, and I use my scissors to trim that off, and unfortunately I'm, well, frankly, not as good at doing that as some others are, so out comes the trimmer, the Fiskars trimmer, and I just bring that up a little bit right into the middle of the sentiment so that it doesn't sort of catch on the edge. But I'm able to do the scissors on the other end and then use my scissors to make more of a banner flag, I guess, on the end. Sort of bringing that in there. And now I've got exactly what I want. I'm going to use some, I mean, it's double-sided, I can't remember the word for it, like double-sided foam. And then it's basically like fun foam, but it's double adhesive on either side. And then this particular stuff, which I picked up at my local dollar store, also has circles within it, so that allows me to stick that underneath each of the ends of those banners. Now I can be able to use the rest of it, both the circles and the outside of the circles, to totally fill that up. That thing is not going to come off, it's not going to move, and hopefully it will not have been damaged in the mail. I'm just eyeballing this. There's no need to actually measure other than to think, well, this needs to go about 2/3 of the way down the card, nice and firmly placed, and I am so incredibly happy with this card. But then I was like, well, am I missing something? And the decision was, yes, I am. So out came some gem stickers I have from, again, one of my local dollar stores here, cheap shops, and I'm going to use some of the pearls in here. That tool that I have, I'm just going to go look for its name, is called the Quickstik. It's from Quick Cuts. I don't even know if you can even find them anymore, but I'll see, and if I can, then I'll link to it in the description. On one end, it has some goop, which is kind of like the blue stuff that you stick on the wall, and then on the other end, it has kind of almost like a little knife that can be able to cut the adhesive that's often in between those gems. I find it highly useful as a poking stick, and yeah, I don't know, I've had this thing for more than a decade as well, so it might not be on the market anymore. I put 2 of those pearls down, and I put one up at the top, and then I looked at it and went, yeah, not so much, and stuck that puppy back onto my sheet. I was much happier with only the 2 pearls down at the bottom. So that is our card for today. I really like how the washi tape has just a little bit of shimmer to it, and how the both the pearls and the embossing powder come together and just make it really, really pretty. Now, I recorded this video a couple of weeks ago, so the card should already have reached its recipient, and I will need to check in and see what they thought of it. Alright, well, that's it for today. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you enjoy my style of video making, then please consider subscribing as well. And as always, may you find joy in card making and community in card giving.
It's called